I want you to try a little experiment with me. Close your eyes for a second. Now, I want you to picture the ultimate high-end Las Vegas backyard. Really visualize it. What are you seeing?
I think I know exactly where this is going.
I mean, I'm guessing you're seeing a massive, sprawling swimming pool that looks like a resort. Maybe there's a swim-up bar. There are definitely uh, fire bowls shooting flames into the night sky for no reason other than it looks cool.
Right.
It's probably got enough lounge chairs to host a wedding reception.
The classic MTV Cribs aesthetic.
Exactly. It's flashy, it's loud, and it is explicitly designed to make your jaw drop when you walk out the sliding glass doors. It's built for a party.
That is the archetype. That is the Vegas we all know, or at least think we know. It's an outward-facing design. This is look at me. But if we look at the source material we have today, specifically this fascinating concept deck from Return of the Nerd,
Yeah.
that image is actually becoming obsolete. It's a dinosaur.
And that is exactly what we are digging into today. We are doing a deep dive into a source titled The Rise of Performance Outdoor Living in Las Vegas. And honestly, the title alone caught me. Performance Outdoor Living.
That's a great title.
Because usually when I think of performance in Vegas, I think of a Cirque du Soleil or a residency on the Strip, but this is about the backyard.
It is. And the core premise here is a massive shift from entertainment to recovery. We are moving away from spaces designed purely for visual impact and toward performance-driven environments.
Okay, let's unpack this, because performance-driven environment sounds a bit like we're turning the patio into a CrossFit gym. But looking at the source, it's much more nuanced than that. We're talking about wellness culture, desert climate realities, and even biohacking, explicitly redesigning the physical landscape of the home.
Exactly. It is about the intersection of architecture, landscape, and human physiology. The mission of this deep dive is to really understand how high-end homes are transitioning from party venues to what the source calls wellness circuits.
I love that term, wellness circuit. It makes the home sound like a machine.
Right.
But before we get into the biohacking stuff, let's establish the baseline. The source lays out the old approach versus the new hybrid model. We touched on the old way, the massive pool built to impress. What else characterizes that traditional Vegas luxury yard that is on its way out?
Well, traditionally, it was about fixed assets. You had that large pool, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
You had fixed shade structures, think heavy wooden pergolas that just sit there regardless of where the sun is.
Right.
And you had ornamental landscaping. The plants were there purely for aesthetics. They were decoration.
It's the look but don't touch vibe. Or the look how much water I can waste vibe.
Precisely. But this new model, the hybrid model, flips that on its head. The source lists some specific features that are replacing those old staples. And here's where it gets really interesting for me. Water.
Okay.
Instead of just a swimming pool, we're seeing cold plunges and hydrotherapy waterfalls integrated into design.
Okay, stop there. Because I feel like every host in the world is telling me to jump in an ice bath right now. But is this actually showing up in architecture? Are people really building permanent ice buckets in their yards?
They absolutely are. And this is a crucial distinction. In the old model, water was for recreation or visual ambiance. You float on a raft with a margarita.
Sounds nice.
It does. But in this new model, water is a tool for the body. Cold plunge integration is a huge signal here. It suggests the homeowner isn't going outside to relax in the traditional sense. They're going outside to shock their system, reduce inflammation, and improve circulation.
So the backyard is becoming a medical device.
In a way, yes, it's a therapeutic tool. And it's not just the water, it's the shade, too. The source mentions adaptive and bioclimatic shading systems.
Now, bioclimatic sounds like something I need a PhD to operate. What does that actually mean in a backyard?
It's where engineering meets the environment. Think about a fixed pergola. It provides shade at one specific time of day. But the Vegas sun is intense and dynamic. It moves. Bioclimatic shading implies systems that respond to the environment louvers that adjust automatically.
So like robot blinds.
Essentially. Imagine louvers that angle themselves to block the direct hit of the sun, but then open slightly to let the rising hot air escape, creating a cooling updraft. Or they seal shut if rain is detected. It's functional design over aesthetic design. It's the house actively managing its own temperature.
That is wildly different from a wooden roof.
Absolutely.
And the plants, we aren't just putting in pretty flowers anymore. The source talks about microclimate-driven plant strategies.
Right. This is about using vegetation to actually cool the air. In the desert, transpiration where plants release water vapor can create pockets of lower temperature. So designers are creating microclimates that make the outdoor space usable. It's a shift from plants as decoration to plants as active participants in the climate control of the home.
So we have cold plunges, robot shade, and working plants. Plus, the layout itself is changing. The source mentions movement zones alongside relaxation areas. It's not just a patio, it's a circuit.
And that word circuit is key, which we will get to. But first, we have to ask, why is this happening? Why now?
That is the big question. Is this just a trend because rich people are bored with regular pools? Or is something deeper driving this?
If we look at the drivers of change outlined in the source, it's definitely deeper. The first major driver is longevity and performance culture.
This is the biohacking angle I mentioned earlier.
Precisely. High net worth buyers are increasingly viewing their bodies as assets to be optimized. They are bringing the mindset of elite athletics or Silicon Valley biohacking into the residential market. They treat their homes as tools for physical and cognitive performance.
It makes sense. If I'm a CEO or an entrepreneur, my backyard isn't just where I grill burgers, it's where I reset my brain so I can go make more decisions tomorrow. It's the concept of the corporate athlete.
That's the logic. It's about recovery. And that ties directly into another driver mentioned, remote and hybrid work.
Oh, that's huge. If you are working from home, which a lot of these buyers are, you are spending significantly more time within the footprint of your property.
Exactly. When you spent 10 hours a day at an office, the backyard was just a view for the evening cocktail. Now, the outdoor space is an extension of the interior living space.
Right.
It needs to be a restorative environment because you are living and working in it all day. You need a place to disconnect from the screen and reconnect with your physiology.
There's another driver here that I think is fascinating: wellness as status. The source says health, recovery, and resilience are becoming the new luxury markers.
This is a massive sociological shift. In previous decades, think the 90s or early 2000s status was demonstrated by material excess. The biggest car, the gold-plated fixtures, the sprawling lawn. Today, status is often demonstrated by how well you function.
Right. Can you run a marathon? Do you meditate?
Exactly. A fit body, a clear mind, and a lifestyle that prioritizes longevity are the ultimate flex, because you can't just buy them off the shelf. You have to earn them.
So having a cold plunge is the new Ferrari.
In a way, yes. It signals that you have the time, the discipline, and the resources to prioritize your biology. It says, I invest in myself.
But we can't ignore the obvious one: the weather. The source lists desert-driven design and climate adaptation as major factors.
And this is critical. We are talking about Las Vegas. Heat, water scarcity, strict lot coverage requirements. These are realities. You can't just plant a lush English garden in the Mojave Desert anymore. It's irresponsible and unsustainable.
So this performance outdoor living isn't just performing for the human, it's performing for the planet, or at least for the local ecosystem.
Climate adaptation means designing for the desert, not just building in it. It's about smart water use and materials that can handle the thermal expansion and contraction of a 110-degree day. It's a move toward resilience.
So what does this all mean for the actual neighborhoods? The source material gets specific about geography. It points out two communities acting as testing grounds for these concepts: Summerlin and Henderson.
Yes, and what's fascinating here is that while the underlying trend wellness is the same, the execution is totally different based on the local vibe.
Let's start with Summerlin. I feel like I can picture Summerlin just by the name. What's
Yeah.
the vibe there?
The source describes the Summerlin aesthetic as minimalist, modern integration.
Clean lines, very structured.
Exactly. It's focused on architectural clarity.
Yeah.
Think glass, steel, concrete. The wellness features, the cold plunges, the shading systems are integrated seamlessly into that modern look. It's very precise.
It sounds almost clinical, but in a high-end spa way, like a wellness lab.
That's a good way to put it. Now contrast that with Henderson, specifically the hillside areas.
Okay, Henderson, what's happening there?
Henderson is emerging as the experimental ground for organic and natural environments.
Organic meaning messier, or just more nature-y.
Nature forward is the term used. The terrain there is rockier, more rugged. Builders there are pushing boundaries to blend the wellness features with the surrounding desert landscape.
I see.
So the cold plunge might look like a natural rock pool. The shade might mimic the canyon walls.
That's a cool distinction. So Summerlin is the wellness machine, and Henderson is the wellness sanctuary.
That's a fair way to put it. But in both cases, they're moving away from that cookie-cutter entertainment backyard. They are building functional spaces.
All right, let's get practical. The source details a conceptual blueprint for this new backyard. It calls it a wellness circuit. I love the idea of a circuit because it implies a process. You don't just go outside. You go outside to do a sequence of things.
Right. The backyard becomes a cohesive environment. The source breaks down the flow. You have recovery, movement, restoration, and social integration.
Walk us through that. Let's say it's Sunday morning. What does a lap through this circuit actually look like?
Well, you might start in the movement zone. This isn't just a patch of grass. It's a designated area with specific flooring for yoga, calisthenics, or maybe functional strength training.
Okay, get the heart rate up. I'm sweating.
Then you move to recovery. This is the wet zone. You hit the sauna, maybe an infrared sauna integrated into the pool house to detox and keep the cardiovascular system working. Then you step out and go straight to the cold plunge.
The dreaded plunge.
The necessary plunge, according to this philosophy. You do your 3 minutes to reduce inflammation. Then you move to restoration.
Okay.
This is where the microclimate-driven plant strategies and bioclimatic shading come into play. You are resting in a lounge chair, but you're in a space that is physically cooler and cleaner than the surrounding desert. You're letting your body stabilize.
And finally, social integration, because you still have friends, hopefully.
Hopefully. But notice that the social aspect, the fire pit, the seating area, is just one part of the circuit.
Right.
It's the final step, not the entire purpose of the yard.
It's a protocol. You are running a maintenance protocol on yourself in your own backyard.
Exactly. And overlaying all of this is smart tech.
The source mentions smart climate control.
Yes, we are seeing technology that allows these spaces to be usable year-round. High-pressure misters that adjust based on humidity sensors.
Wait, humidity sensors?
Yes. If the air is dry enough, the mist evaporates instantly, cooling the air without getting you wet. If it's too humid, the system knows not to turn on so it doesn't create a swamp. It's proactive.
That's amazing. It's about extending the usability of the home footprint so that outdoor living isn't just a phrase for spring and fall.
It really is a system. Now let's pivot to the business side. If you're a developer or an investor listening to this, why do you care?
Yeah, show me the money. Is this actually increasing property value?
You care because this is a market opportunity. This isn't just a fun design trend, it's a value driver. The source explicitly mentions premium pricing.
So people will pay more for the cold plunge.
There is potential for premium pricing for wellness-first homes. If you can market a property not just as beautiful, but as a place that will extend your lifespan or improve your daily recovery, that is a powerful value proposition for a specific tier of buyer.
It also talks about new partnerships. This is interesting to me. It says architects need to collaborate with health experts.
This raises an important point. If you are building a performance home, an architect knows load-bearing walls and aesthetics. But do they know the optimal temperature variance for contrast therapy? Do they know which light spectrums disrupt circadian rhythms?
Probably not. That's not usually in the architecture curriculum.
Exactly. So we are seeing a new type of professional relationship emerge, where health optimization experts, doctors, performance coaches are consulting on architectural blueprints.
That is wild. Hi, I'm your architect, and this is Dr. Steve, who's going to make sure your patio lowers your cortisol levels.
It sounds funny, but it's where the high-end market is heading. It adds legitimacy to the claim, and the source emphasizes an early mover advantage. Investors who adapt early to this performance-driven model are going to capture that demand before it becomes the standard.
Right, because eventually the cold plunge might just be as common as the dishwasher, but right now it's a differentiator.
Exactly. We are in the early adoption phase.
So let's zoom out. We've gone from the glitzy, party-centric Vegas backyard to this sophisticated, biohacked, climate-adaptive recovery zone. We're building backyards for the self, not for the neighbors.
That is the fundamental shift. It is an introverted turn in design, focusing on the resident's experience, health, and longevity.
The source ends with a really provocative thought that I want to leave you, our listener, with. This is currently a curator's observation based on early signals. It's not a formal industry report yet.
Right. These are the whispers before the shout.
So the question the source poses is, if these early indicators, the cold plunges, the smart shade, or just the testing phase, what does the fully realized wellness home of 2030 look like?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, think about automation. If today we are manually stepping into a cold plunge or turning on the misters, maybe 2030 is about fully automated environmental regulation.
Like the house reading your mind.
Or reading your body. Imagine wearable tech that communicates with your home. You walk out the back door, and the house knows your heart rate variability is low. You're stressed.
Oh, wow.
It automatically adjusts the lighting to a warmer spectrum. turns on the water feature for white noise, and sets the temperature of your recovery pod instantly.
That is both terrifying and awesome. The house knows you're stressed and starts treating you.
It's the logical next step of performance living. The environment isn't passive. It's an active participant in your health.
Well, there you have it. The backyard isn't just a yard anymore. It's a machine for living.
It's a system. And for you listening, whether you are in Vegas or not, it's worth looking at your own outdoor space. Is it just scenery? Or is it working for you?
I'm looking at my plastic lawn chair with a lot of judgment right now.
You might need an upgrade.
A huge thank you to the learner for diving into this with us today. Hopefully you'll never look at a pergola the same way again.
Indeed. There's always more to learn.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.